Hey folks, my name is Chris Wessel. Today we're going to be tying an Atlantic salmon fly called the Purple McBain. This fly was created by Gordon McBain of Aberdeen, Scotland, and is apparently a really good fly for the River Dee. So without further ado, let's get on into it. Alright, today we're going to be tying our Purple McBain on a size 2 Patriot single from Partridge. These are super cool little hooks. I love the really aggressive bend in them, and they just kind of stand out. They're very unique. I like them. So we're just using a 70 UTC in a white color to start off with, and we're going to bring our thread wraps back to roughly around the hook point, which is a bit different on this style wet salmon fly hook because the bend starts well before where that hook point is. So that's just going to be the style. So we're going to throw on, for our butt, we're going to throw on an extra small gold oval. And we're going to do quite a few wraps because that's the only thing we have in the back of this fly, so we can make it a little bit more pronounced. There we go. And it just kind of get that secured in place. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bring my thread up, and all I'm doing here, normally I wouldn't do this, but I'm just trying to build the body a little bit. And the reason being for that is normally on a hook this size I would use a larger floss, but it just so happens I ran out of my larger uni stretch that I would have probably used for this, and I didn't replace it. So now we are going to be using a Glow-Brite today, and it's not very thick floss, so I'm just trying to bulk up this body a little bit with other stuff. So what we're going to end up using for our ribbing is a size small gold oval. You could definitely go with a medium on this as well, on this size of a fly. I'm just going to tie it in here and then wrap back. Just save me from going up and down the hook a couple extra times. And I'm just kind of keeping that oval in one spot going along the shank of the hook. That way it helps decrease the chance of getting some bumps in the body that I don't want there. So next thing we're going to do is tie in some golden pheasant for our tail. And I just grab that by the tip of those feathers and I just brush back all these shorter ones and peel them off. So I'm just going to have to turn this for a second so I can size up my tail. It's hard to do looking down on the top of the fly. I'm going to have a fussy one here, I think. That'll do. Alright, so now it is time to bring our thread up to the top, or to the front of the hook again. I just cut my nails this morning and they're catching on everything. Should have followed them. Alright, so I'm just going to tie this thread off. We're not going to need the white anymore after this, and we use white on this because with the colored body, when this gets wet, you won't see the black thread, let's say, bleed through. So as I had mentioned, we're going to go with the Glow-Brite, and you can see that this is really small floss for the size of a hook. So bear with me, it may take an extra minute to get this all on. I will have to turn the fly to do so. You know, maybe I can do it like this. Not so bad. And when you do have floss on a bobbin like this, keep in mind it will twist up. So all you do is just take a break and untwist it by giving it a spin and then keep going. Using a bobbin with your flosses definitely saves time. Well, it does for me. You can imagine making all these wraps by hand with that floss. And all I'm going to do is just hold my golden pheasant in place when I come down here, just so if I get the floss up against it, it doesn't twist it at all. There you go. And as you see, like even with bulking up the body and stuff a bit, it is going to be a skinnier body on this fly. I'm alright with that. I'm sure I'll be able to find a fish that's okay with it too. Chose a bit of a bigger hook for this pattern because I want to be able to use this in the late season into the fall. I have a few bigger fish hanging around, and I'll generally go with a larger hook size that time of year. Alright, so now we'll get our black thread on, and that's what we're going to be finishing this fly up with, is a black head. And we can cut this stuff off now. Yeah, that is skinny. Alright, let's get our tinsel on. I'm going to have to space them out a little bit further than that. So we're going to work on our throat now, and I actually don't have any purple hen saddle either, which is normally what I like to use for throat. So I had this in a whiting tires pack that I had. Guys, if you've never purchased one of these whiting tires packs before, I can't count how many times it's gotten me out of a bind. It just has feathers that you probably wouldn't regularly use. But the times you do need it, it seems like I always dive into that pack and find something. The throat won't be as pretty as it would with hen saddle, just because hen saddle seems to be my thing if I'm doing a nice throat. So when I'm using material like this, I just give that a little twist, and I picked that tip up off of John Scott in Nova Scotia years ago. That just put everything in a ball in your finger and just kind of roll it around, and it mixes the feathers in nice, and give it a flick. Yeah, it's going to be a scraggly throat, but we'll manage. Yeah, I wish I had some hen saddle. Alright, that's it. So our wing on this fly consists of two materials. We're going to start off with a yellow squirrel. And I'm just going to choose a piece. Don't go too crazy on the bulk with this, because you will have another material that you got to put on top of it. I'm just pulling out some of the ends that look like maybe they're cut. And we'll do a stack. we're going to size our wing up to come roughly up to the tip of the golden pheasant. And it's all personal preference, guys. I mean, I like doing that because it gives me a point of reference, and I can, if I'm tying 10 of these or 20 of these, then I can make them all look the same because I have a spot that I'm measuring with, right? So, and also I'm going to put a little bit of a dab of, some crazy glue there. And I'm not going to bother wrapping that over yet, but I just wanted to make sure we had a little bit of glue down there before we went on with our next piece. So the next is a black squirrel tail on top of the yellow. And again, you don't need a ton of this. And I'm just going to tip this over so I can see where I'm at. You want to roughly get them around the same length. So we'll do a wrap or two and then we can size everything up and decide if that's where we're stopping. I think that'll do. You could also wrap one wrap around each wing material before you tie it down, and that'll keep them separated really nice. But I generally don't do that unless I'm using either bucktail or more than 2 layers in a wet fly. Just trying to get this cut end covered up with thread here. Right. So what's left for us to do now is to tie off. And I am still using my whip finisher the wrong way. I turned in the wrong direction with it and I just can't get out of it. So it works the way I do it. It's just not how you're supposed to do it. Oh, I just fluffed that wing up a little bit too much, I think. I want to cut some fibers off, but it's not going to work because it'll just ruin it. So anyway, this is a purple McBain. I haven't really had a lot of experience with this. I do have a couple in my fly box and I have used them. Purple generally does well in for Atlantic salmon, so I can't see why not. So thank you all very much for popping by. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I would always appreciate that, but if that's not your thing, that's totally cool too. So until next time, stay safe.